operating track. The history here is just phenomenal.
The Mid-American Stock Car Series was born in 1993 under the guidance of the late Gary Vercauteren. Wisconsin International Raceway played such an important part those early years of the Mid-Am Series. In fact, no other track has hosted more Mid-American Stock Car Series races than WIR. Yet for the last 5 seasons, track and series officials could not come up with a date that worked for both sides, so the series did not come to WIR. Well, that all changes today, when the Mid-American Stock Car Series drivers return to this tricky half-mile D-shaped oval about a half hour south of Green Bay. And what better track to host the annual running of the Vercauteren Memorial than the track that Gary called home and the Mid-American Stock Car Series called home. I'll bring you all the action from the pit area and talk to the driver who will leave here with the Vercauteren Memorial Traveling Trophy.
Thanks, Dean. Let's take a look at the event schedule for the Vercauteren Memorial here at Wisconsin International Raceway. First of all, we have qualifications. They took place this morning. Couple of laps that determines the main event grid. Now, the heat races, they do not determine anything in the main event. They're for cash. They're for series points as well, so they're vital. 3 heats, 8 laps each. In the main event, you get your qualifying time back, plus an inversion at the front of the field that's determined randomly, and we have a 40-lap main event coming up. Now let's take a look back earlier at the day at the heat races that unfolded early on, because they were a lot of fun here at this weird D-shaped track. Heat race number 1 out of Indiana, the Hoosier in the number 21, Tim Fulford, took the early lead. Now those of you who saw Tim last year, you saw him in the 174 car. This year it's the same car, renumbered number 21, and his teammate Rick Tackman Jr. in the 74 comes up on the outside trying to make this pass. Late in the heat race, the battle for first will eventually go to Rick Tackman Jr. Tim Fulford tries everything to hold him off on the low line, which is usually the preferred line here at Wisconsin International Raceway, but this time the heat race win goes to Rick Tackman.
A heat race win from well back in the field. How'd you do it?
You know, well, not the way we wanted to. We had a bad qualifying lap. We messed up the setup in qualifying, thought we had something good in practice. We just didn't hit it right in qualifying, put us back where we didn't want to be, fixed it, and boy, what a rocket ship.
That's Rick Tackman Jr. He picks up the win in heat race number 1, Mid-American Stock Car Series.
Now let's take a look back at heat race number 2. On the pole, Brian Holtz in the 38B. Just a note, there's also another 38 out there today, driven by Jeff Holtz, his brother, and he's in the 38J. But right now it's Brian running point. And the Milwaukee winner from a couple of seasons ago, a guy who came back out of retirement to run the Mid-Am Stock Car Series this year, the 62 of Scott Null. Now, Scott's going to get a big challenge on the outside. That is the 48 car of Brad Keith. Brad Keith has won a bunch of races in the Mid-American Stock Car Series. He is the 2013 Series champion, and he tried to make it stick on the outside of turns number 1 and 2 as the heat race was coming to an end, and he was able to hang on, post the win, and Scott Null falls to second place. Let's head down and talk to Dean Strong.
What was the key to getting to the front?
It just took a little bit for the car to come in and just feel everything out. We kind of didn't have the best of luck qualifying and just trying to figure out this racetrack, and it seems like we're starting to get the setup dialed in. Hopefully for the future we'll be right on the spot.
Brad Keith picks up the win, heat race number 2.
The third and final heat race would pit some of the fastest guys in the Mid-American Stock Car Series against each other. Starting up front and taking an early lead was the 0V car. That's David Verhagen in the white car with the blue trim. He's out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, but he got a very quick challenge from Tyler Bauknecht in the 33 car on the bottom side. But Verhagen wasn't giving up anywhere near that easily. These guys ran side by side for about a lap, really battling it out for first place. Mark Plur putting his nose up underneath the 33 of Tyler Bauknecht, who would eventually take the lead. But just as he got the lead, here comes Mark Plur in the 54 car. They were coming down on the white flag lap, and Mark Pleurer manages just to get a nose underneath him and take the win. We head down to Dean Strom in the Hoosier Tire Victory Lane.
Mark, back in Victory Lane at Wisconsin International Raceway. How's it feel?
Feels great, just like the old days.
Speaking of old days, that was a last lap pass for the win. How did you pull it off?
This car was a little tight, and he went in a little tight, a little high. I was able to get a fender under him, drag race down the backstretch, and then from there it's just drive around him.
That is Mark Pleurer picks up the win. Heat race number 3, Mid-American Stock Car Series here. He's in Victory Lane at Wisconsin International Raceway.
The sun has stayed out all day, Dean. We've had temperatures rise by 10 or 15 degrees. We have a different racetrack and a greasier racetrack. You'll see the Mid-Am stars on it when we come back for the main event right after this. Mid-American Stock Car Racing on Sopwith Motorsports TV is brought to you by Impact, by Mastercraft Safety, and by Hoosier Racing Tire. So the field begins to line up at Wisconsin International Raceway just outside of Green Bay for the Vercauteren Memorial Race in the Mid-American Stock Car Series. On the pole today, the 2013 Series champion, car number 48, Brad Keith. Kenny Justin is on the outside in that beautiful green and white number 47. Jeremy Spoonmore, the 2012 champ, inside row number 2. Tyler Bauknecht in car 33. He won his heat race today. Lyle Nowak, another Series champion, inside row 3, alongside Scott Dunning in the 132. Adam Benzik and Mark Pleurer, both strong runners, inside row 4. Row number 5 is Jeff Holtz in the 38J car. Make a note of that J, alongside Bill Preetzel in car number 5. A winner on both ovals and road courses is Bill Preetzel. Inside row 6, it's Ryan Gutnick in the 01 car, alongside Eric Pierce in car number 8. Row number 7, we saw him lead his heat early on in the 0V as David Verhagen Jr. and Scott Knoll, the veteran, outside row 7 and 62. Brian Holt, note the 38B for Brian inside row 8. Dan Gilster in the white number 23. Rick Tackman Jr. in the 74 car, a heat race winner today. Ben Glasscock in the 83 is outside of row 9. Row 10 is Marv Flick in the 90, and the number 21, again, that's renumbered from the 174 last year. That is Tim Fulford from Indiana in row number 10. Inside row 11, Greg Beebe out of Waukesha, Wisconsin, alongside Jimmy Dragic. He is out of Germantown, Wisconsin, and we are ready to go racing. Brad Keith on the inside, Kenny Justin on the outside. They take the green flag, and heading into turn number 1, it'll be Brad Keith losing the lead just by a car length to Kenny Justin, who gets a huge jump off turn number 2. And now here comes the 22 of Jeremy Spoonmore. That's a blue car that we anticipate seeing a lot of today. He's very fast. And the 33 of Tyler Bauknecht is challenging for second place. With a lap under our belts, things start to shake out just a bit at the front of the field. Tyler Bauknecht, we're on board with him now in the number 33 car. He's always fast here, so he's the perfect guy to ask how to get around this place.
Coming into turn 1, there's a big bump that you kind of want to avoid, otherwise it'll set up the car. Some guys like to use it to their advantage, but personally I don't. Go down the backstretch. Halfway down the backstretch, there'll be a big bump that will really upset the car if you're not ready for it. Coming into 3, you'll want to round the corner, and you want to run as far up to the wall as possible without hitting it. And there's a blacktop, and you want to run right in the middle of that coming into 1.
And he's the perfect guy to tell us this. You know, Reedsville, Wisconsin is his hometown. It's not that far away. He calls this his home track, and Kenny Justin is getting a mirror full of him. In fact, Justin is going to give up the outside, and Tyler may end up taking the lead here. This is the battle for first place. Tyler Bauknecht on the inside, Kenny Justin in that beautiful number 47 green and white car on the outside, and Brad Keith in third in the 48, just sitting back and waiting to see what happens. Brad Keith takes a look to the inside of Justin. can't make the move for second place. And what a great overhead shot. I love this shot. You're looking at turn 3 from the overhead angle. That's a wonderful shot we'll keep going back to this afternoon. Meanwhile, the 33 of Tyler Bauknecht is just about to check out on everybody. He's picked up about 3 car lengths on Justin. And Justin, for his part, he's kind of hanging on for dear life because he's being attacked right now by that car, the black 48. That's Brad Keith. Now you can see Keith getting sideways. In fact, he's got smoking some problems. The 48 of Brad Keith is pulling off to the right side of your screen. In fact, we've got 2 cars now out of the action. I believe that's the number 90. That's Marv Flick. That's also slowing on the race course. So we've lost 2 players here. And the funny thing is, guys, we have not seen a yellow flag. Both of these guys have gotten off course. There's the 90 of Marv Flick. Look how high the back end of that race car is. He obviously has major suspension failure going on at the front end of the race car. But again, we are still under green flag racing. We'll try to catch up with Dean Strom, find out what happened to Brad Keith. But in the meantime, you're looking at the race through the eyes of Jeff Holtz in the 38J. He started inside row 5. He's all the way up to 4th, so he's one of the really fast movers and shakers. Bill Preetzel is in 3rd, and leading the pack is Tyler Bauknecht in the number 33. Back to the Vercauteren Memorial in just a moment. Sopwith Motorsports TV featuring the Mid-American Stock Car Series is brought to you by McGunegill Engine Performance, the power to win, and by Bauknecht Timepieces, high-grade, quality-made timepieces. Well, so far the story of the race here at Wisconsin International Raceway has been the dropping out of last year's series champion, Brad Keith. He is down on pit row, standing by with our own Dean Strom. Dean?
Brad Keith out early. What put you out?
Looks like a valve cover gasket. I don't know. The motor seemed like it was getting real flat. Car handled awesome. Just one of those things, I don't know. It looks like the valve cover gasket kind of just crapped out the side of the valve cover.
That's Brad Keith, your defending series champion, running 3rd early on when he had a mechanical problem.
And the funny thing is, last year, Dean, he could do no wrong, but this is going to set him back in the points. Back to the front of the field, Tyler Bauknecht in the 33 car has really run off with things. He is putting forth a clinic here. Remember, this is his home track. He knows how to get in and out. And where he's going right now, into turn number 3, you can go on board with him out of turn 4, drifting all the way up to the wall. That's a very tricky part of this course, and that's where he's making the time on the lot of his competitors. And now we've got a crash up high in turns number 1 and 2. That's going to slow things down and bring out a yellow. That is the 98. I think that's Greg Beebe. Tyler Bauknecht is not going to like that. That erases his huge advantage. But right now, while we're under yellow, let's go to Dean Strom for the Impact by Mastercraft Minute and the history of this course.
The Wisconsin International Raceway, one of the most unique tracks in the upper Midwest. The half mile that hosts the Mid-American Stock Car Series here this afternoon was built in 1969 around a quarter-mile oval and next to a quarter-mile drag strip. Those 2 existing tracks help to create the uniqueness that is WIR. The front straightaway has a dogleg in the middle. You go up the hill, then down the hill. Turns number 1 and 2, much different than turns 3 and 4. The back straightaway, long and flat. One thing that WIR is not lacking is history. Before Matt Kenseth, before Alan Kulwicki were NASCAR champions, they were champions here at WIR.
We are looking for a green flag again this time around. You are on board with Jeff Holtz in the 38J. Now, Jeff was our winner in the very first race of the year at Rockford. Just in front of him is the 5 of Bill Preetzel. And, of course, our leader on the inside, that's the 33 of Tyler Bauknecht. And it looked to me like Holtz got a big bump. And there's Kenny Justin in the 47 vying for 3rd place. We've got a huge battle up toward the front right now. Bill Preetzel is hanging right on the tail of Tyler Bauknecht. And thank goodness he had that opportunity because of that last yellow that just came out. But while we jump back on board with Jeff Holtz, Dean Strom got to talk to him about his win early on.
Couldn't ask to start the year better and start on a positive note. And even though it was a little bit shorter race than we expected, I'll still take it.
Your goals and expectations not only here today, but for the 2014 season.
We're taking it one race at a time. as long as we keep doing good, we're going to keep going, and we run to see how our road bumps come and go from there, But I love the race, and as long as we're doing good, it's hard not to,
Jeff is in third position. Now let's take a moment and recognize fourth place. That's Scott Dunning out of Bolingbrook, Illinois on the 132. He started on the outside of row number 3 and has moved up to fourth position. Right now in sixth position, take a look at the bright blue number 22. That's Jeremy Spoonmore fighting his way past Lyle Nowak and Kenny Justin. Now, the 22 car was acquired by Jeremy over the offseason. He just put that car together, doesn't have a lot of experience with it, and he's doing a great job out here right now. Dean Strom talked to him earlier.
Jeremy, the 2012 Series champion, back at WIR since 2000 for the first time since 2008. How does it feel?
It feels good. I like this place. This place actually means quite a bit to me. I got my first ever Mid-Am Series win here a long time ago, but it's fun to be here. It's got a lot of history and all that stuff, but it's fun to race here.
How do you approach this racetrack, not having been here for a while?
Oh, I just kind of approach it the same way I do everything. Kind of be aggressive, but you got to wait. You got to be passive a bit. So, it's kind of a double-edged sword, but we'll see.
Jeremy Spoonmore in the 22. You're on board with him. He is clearly faster than several cars he just got past. Now he's working the low side of Mark Plur in the 54, and this will put Jeremy all the way up into the top 5. And I think he's got something for the rest of the field if he can just catch back up to him. Tyler Bauknecht still in command at the 40-lap Vercauteren Memorial Mid-American Stock Car Series main event. Back in a moment. Mid-American Stock Car Racing on Sopwith Motorsports TV is brought to you by Impact, by Mastercraft Safety, and by Hoosier Racing Tire. A great crowd on hand and some fun vendors here at Wisconsin International Raceway. We are at Kaukauna, Wisconsin. This is round 2 of the 2014 Mid-American Stock Car Series campaign, where we've seen Tyler Bauknecht in control here for the last few moments. But this sort of represents a homecoming, and we had a chance to talk with series owner Doug Strasburg about coming back to this racetrack after so many years.
It was my favorite track back in the 60s or 70s when I raced here, and the Mid-American guys just put on a tremendous show here. And look at the day the good Lord gave us. Who could ask for anything more? We're just so happy to be back here.
The Gary Vercauteren Memorial, the traveling trophy, is up for grabs. Gary, of course, started the series back in 1993 before his untimely passing in 2005. How special is this event to the tour and to have it back here?
Well, we wouldn't be here today without Gary and his brother Pete Vercauteren, and we have 6 members of the family here. Yet the trophy actually started before Mid-American. Gary had the Vercauteren Memorial Traveling Trophy, and then when he brought Mid-American aboard, the trophy came with him. So that trophy's, and about 25 years old, and it's the same trophy. It just keeps passing down the line here, so it's just really really neat to have a trophy that old and have all those names on it and have the Vercauterens here for it. So
we are running out of laps here at the Vercauteren Memorial. And I'll tell you, the 33 car just got a big break there. Now, Tim Fulford in the 21 does nothing wrong. He does a good job with the loose race car laying over on the bottom side, but that bought Tyler Bauknecht another car length, maybe 2, over the 5 of Bill Preetzel, who's in second place, and the 38 of Jeff Holtz. So the cards are on the table. Let's see if Bill Preetzel's got anything for the leader right now as Bauknecht clips it way down low. Going into turn number 1, he's got 3 corners ahead of him and then a possible checkered flag. Preetzel's won just about everything there is to win in the Mid-American Stock Car Series, even posting wins on road courses. But I don't think anybody's going to be able to take this one away from Tyler Bauknecht, who comes down the front stretch and will take the checkered flag at Wisconsin International Raceway. No question whatsoever that he was the class of the field today. The 33 car really, really quick. The 5 of Bill Preetzel will come up alongside to give him a wave and a salute, congratulating him on his big win today here at the Vercauteren Memorial. And you know, throughout the course of 2 days, you really had to guess right on everything, every step of the way. Tyler is going to pull into victory lane right now. We'll talk to him in just a moment, but he absolutely nailed it in practice yesterday. He nailed it in qualifying, and now he is in the Hoosier Tire Winners Circle with Dean Strom. Let's go down and talk to him.
Tyler Bauknecht, 23-year-old driver, picks up his third Mid-American Stock Car Series win. They made you work for that one, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. You know, I had a lot of good guys behind me. You know, I just, try to keep my line, consistent laps. That's the key here.
Caution with 13 laps to go. You had a big advantage. I imagine you didn't want to see that caution.
I did not want to see that. That was the last thing I wanted to see. But, I was saving my tires. They were fast. I knew they were trying to burn them up. I just ran the line and stayed on that line.
The youngster listened, he learned well, and he goes to victory lane, picks up the Gary Vercauteren Memorial Traveling Trophy and his third Mid-American Stock Car Series win here at Wisconsin International Raceway.
That is a large trophy. That thing is huge, and of course that is the Vercauteren Memorial Trophy that Dean spoke of just a few moments ago. Now let's go back and talk with our second and third place runners.
Trill Preetzel, fast qualifier, come back with a runner-up finish. Tell us about your day.
We had a good day. Yeah, we wanted to win this one. Don't get me wrong. I tried and tried. I think Tyler, I think the person on the radio let Tyler know I was just getting close, and Tyler picked it up a little bit. I'd pick it up a little bit. Tyler picked it up a little bit. I think he had more than I did. I couldn't get him. Always come to win, but going home clean in second is not a bad day.
Jeff Holtz, a third place finish. How was your run?
Fun, exciting, long, hot. Glad it's over.
You had a caution there with 13 to go, give you one last chance at the leader. What was your thought?
Thought it was going to be good because I knew that Preetzel was going to be on the outside, and I was hoping we could go on the outside. We got by Justin, but 33 was pretty tough.
That's Jeff Holtz. He comes home third in today's main event.
Well, let's look at how things shake out. Tyler Bauknecht, your winner, Preetzel and Holtz in second and third place. Scott Dunning drove the wheels off the 132 in a fine ride today. Jeremy Spoonmore in fifth, followed by Lyle Nowak, Mark Plur, Eric Pierce. Kenny Justin finished in the top 10, and Jimmy Dragic, who also came from the back of the field. Dragic from Germantown, Wisconsin, really put up a nice show today. Thanks a bunch for joining us. Thanks to Dean Strom. We'll see you from the Milwaukee Mile next time on Sopwith Motorsports TV.